Yeah, really excited about Kenny and the whole staff and what we've been able to learn from them so far. And message has kind of, for me, been the same. Like, hey, we're going to judge you based on how many threes you can get up when you're out there. So continue to be as aggressive as I can and try and make the lives of the rest of my teammates easier.
You're not a rookie no more, so now you fall into that veteran kind of a thing. How's that change?
Yeah, it's going into my fifth year now, where it's kind of a little more established. It's good to have that confidence, but at the same time, like, goal is always the same. It's to try and be the best that I can be and to try and help my team win at the highest level.
You mentioned, they're going to judge you based off of making threes, which I'm sure you expect, but just little conversations with Kenny coming in, been like about just what your role kind of overall is going to look like with this team in terms of on a nightly basis.
Yeah, we haven't had too many discussions, in depth as far as that goes, but I think based on the overall team discussions, I think we're in a good spot where, like, the type of stuff that I do and that Max does and that George does, with having good screeners like Jay and Evan and Tristan, like, can be big for us, can be important for us. So we're going to try and run and move the ball and have some player movement as well and try and set a lot of screens for each other, whether it's bigs for smalls for smalls, or even smalls for big. Like, that's the kind of stuff that can help get shooters open. So that's what I'm going to try and do.
When you look back at your season last year, just what kind of stands out as things that you felt like were good sort of building blocks for you moving forward, and then things that you feel like I got to be better here, better there?
Yeah, it was obviously very, it was a fun year to be able to get a chance to play and kind of prove that I can, do a lot of stuff at this level. But I shot 40%, which is good, but I feel like I can get that number up. And I think there was, I had probably the worst 6-game stretch of my career towards the end of the season where I just forgot how to shoot. I think without that, maybe it's a little higher, but I think that number can get up. I worked on getting a little stronger this summer. I've definitely done that. And, last year I kind of lost my touch around the rim, which is something I've had in the past, but I wanted to, get that back. And it's not going to be something that I'm doing a ton, but just to be able to keep the defense honest. So being the best shooter that I can be and then adding those other things, I think will help me be a better player.
You've obviously experienced, slumps and streaks throughout your career, but to have it happen at the NBA level for the first time, just what did you learn about how to navigate those things at this level versus when you've done it in other stops in your career?
Yeah, it's tough to go through shooting slumps. I'm generally not a guy that does that, but I definitely did that one little stretch there. You just got to trust in who you are and trust that it'll come back. And, maybe 2 games, maybe 6 games, maybe 7, whatever. But I just had to have faith that I put in the work. I've made shots before. It's not like I just forgot how to shoot a basketball. So, and I think that's with a lot of guys. Like, it's not easy to, even for great shooters, it's not easy to make shots at this level because there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot that goes into it. But you just got to trust your work and trust who you are.
And I talked a little bit about last season. It's kind of like a coming out part. People find out how good you are when it comes to shooting, but also understanding how later into the season you were more so on scouting reports and all those things. How have you prepared yourself this past season to be able to be ready for that this coming year?
Yeah, I still feel like I was able to be effective, even though guys were keying in a little more. But for me, it's taking advantage of that. I feel like I'm a good screener. I can obviously move around and put pressure on the defense, but I think screening is a big thing for shooters that are being guarded tightly, and didn't get a ton of opportunities to do that last year. I think that's something that I could try and add this year, and could certainly help out guys like Evan when Evan's handling the ball, or even screening for Donovan and Darius. But then again, like, just being a little more efficient when I run off the line, which is something I know I'm capable of but didn't quite have last year. And then, even when there are times where I'm maybe not getting as much shots up as normal, trying to affect the games in other ways, which I feel like I'm definitely capable of.
Sam, talks about how the distance can make what Kenny do to the guys. What can you guys do to help Kenny succeed?
Well, I was talking earlier, like, it's it's interesting because we have a new staff, so there's a lot of new things we got to learn. But it's, as everyone knows, it's basically the exact same team with, obviously JT and a couple different two ways. But so there's going to be some us learning from them, and then them probably learning from us. And I think, in answer to your question, like the fact that most of us were in Cleveland for most of September, I think is really important to help us get off to a good start. And we haven't done a ton of system talk the last month or so. We've mostly just been playing, but the little that we've done, I think, will certainly help us going forward.
Just being a student of the game and looking back in your mind, who is the most underrated player of all time?
Of all time? Oh. Of the players that I've watched, maybe? Man, that's a good question.
Sam Merrill.
I can tell you who the most underrated player in the league right now is, and that's Donovan. I think Donovan's a high level player, because, and he talks about this too much, but because he hasn't made the conference finals, it's, he's not ranked as high as maybe he believes he is. And I agree with him. Like he's a high level player, and he was a great player last year for us.
So do you think he should have been on the USA team?
Yeah, but I don't.
Okay.
There's that, and I don't know exactly why he was or wasn't invited. So.